Welcome guys, I am Vikram Kakar, a student of ACAS Cloud. Today we will learn how to create a VPN. So there are two types of VPN. One is client to site and the other is site to site. Client to site is where you have individual users who need to be connected to the company's network. And you also have site to site wherein a company may have another branch office, a head office and a branch office. And say the branch office needs to be connected to the head office. Today we will have a look at the client to site VPN connection. So I've created a resource group. I've created a virtual network, a subnet, a network security group, and a Linux VM. So the full network architecture. Now we need to establish a VPN gateway. So after having created, as I said, the resource group, the VNet, subnet, NSG, and the VM, I now click on the left the virtual network gateway option. If you go to the search button on the top as well, you can find, you can type virtual network gateways and you can find them because I've already previously done that. So I have this option on the left. I click that option and then I go to create. Once we have created the virtual network gateway, we then create a client-side VM. And within that, we then establish the connection. First, we need to create a gateway. So I'm now creating the gateway. The network architecture which I created, which I mentioned, so I have kept the naming standard, such as the resource group is Azure side resource group. The VNet is Azure side VNet, subnet is Azure side subnet, NSG again is Azure side NSG. And the Linux VM again is Azure side Linux VM, just to keep it very clear. Similarly, the virtual network gateway which I'm creating, I'll call it Azure side VNG. So I'll keep the gateway type as VPN, the VPN type as root based. The SKU, I'll select at least VPN GW1, generation 1. The VNet will be Azure side VM. And the subnet, I'll keep it at the default. We need to create a new public IP. I need to give it a name. I call it VPN IP. I'll keep these two options disabled, the enable active mode as well as the configure BGP. And I'll create. Now remember, the VNG takes on average 20 to 25 minutes to create. So meanwhile, we will create the client-side architecture. So we need to create a resource group and a Windows VM. This is the Azure side architecture we have created. Now we'll create the client-side architecture. So I'll create a resource group. I'll call it client-side RG. I'll keep the same region. And I'll create the client-side VM. It's a Windows VM. The client-side Windows VM has been deployed. Now we will log into this VM and we will create two certificates. They're called root certificate and child certificate. These certificates enable us to establish the VPN connection. And I will remotely log in. The root and the child certificate, which I need to create in the client VM, I need to download them from Microsoft Docs and then paste them in PowerShell. So I'm first going to copy the root certificate and I'll paste it in PowerShell. Now I'll copy the child certificate and paste it. Once that has been done, I'll type the command mmc, which will take me to the console. So now we need to configure the connection. I go to File, I click Add Remove Snap-in, I click Certificates, Add, my user account, finish, and then OK. Now I expand the certificate section. I go to personal, within that the certificates. So here we see two options, child certificate and root certificate. I'll right click the root certificate. I click all tasks and click export, and then click next. I'll click option no, do not export the private key. The base 64 encoded. It asks me to give a file name and save it. I'll save it in the desktop and I'll call it root certificate and click save and click next and then finish. Now I'll right click the child certificate. I'll click all tasks and click export. Click next. Here I'll click yes, export the private key. I'll click next. I'll give a password and click next. Again, I need to save the file, so I'll save it on desktop and give it a name. I'll call it child certificate and click save and then next and finish. Now I go on the desktop. Now we need to install and export both of these certificates. So I'll right click child certificate and click install. I'll keep current user and next. I'll leave it the default file name and I'll give the same password which I had given just now, and I'll click next. Again next and finish. I'll click yes and OK. Now I'll right click root certificate. I'll click open with notepad. Now this is a code. I will need to copy this code and paste it at some point in the Azure portal. For that I need to delete the first line and the last line, and I need to arrange this into one single line. I'm going to open another Azure portal over here. So I'm going to select this text and copy all of it. I've opened another Azure portal on this VM, and I'll go to the VNG which I have created, the virtual network gateway, which has now been deployed. Within that, I'll go to the point to site configuration on the left. I'll click configure now. I'll put address space in it. I'll put the tunnel type as IKEv2. Authentication will be Azure certificate. As you saw, we have created the certificates, so hence we have kept Azure certificate. I'll call this root certificate, and within the public certificate data I'll paste the text which I had copied, and I click save. I clicked save here, so it's now saving all the data. Once that has been done, this option of download VPN client will be activated. The data has now been saved. I'll click the option of download VPN client. I'll open the file and I'll click extract. Click extract all. So this is the extracted file. I'll click the folder AMD64, open. This file of VPN client setup, I'll right click and run. So this is now setting up the VPN connection. I'll click run. Now if I click on the bottom right, the network connections, we can now see the Azure side VN connection available. I'll click Azure side VPN, click connect, again connect, continue, and you can see now It says connected. So we have finally finished the process. All we now need to do is, from this PC, we need to ping the Linux PC which we had created in the Azure side architecture and see if that works. I'll go to the command prompt and ping the Linux PC now. And the connection has been successful. It says sent 4 packets and received 4 packets and 0% loss. So the VPN connection, which you can see over here, which we have created, has been successful. So in this class, we saw how to create a point-to-site VPN connection, so which is generally used to connect individual users to the site. Hope this session was useful for you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.